Good morning, St. John's. I hope you're doing well and that you're having a blessed summer. Who's the first person you remember greeting you at St. John's? When you think back to that first time that you walked into church, you were anonymous and you were kind of navigating your way in the new space, and somebody walked up to you and introduced themselves. Do you remember who that was? It's amazing how many of us have this memory of who that person was that was the first person to intentionally come up and say hello. And there's a reason for this, that when we are in a space that's vulnerable like that, and which most of the time is when we're new in a place, that space of vulnerability, when it's met with a friendly face or someone that goes out of their way to say hello and just chat with us for a little bit to get to know us, there's something about the bridge between that vulnerability and then feeling known that is memorable. And it's etched. It's just there. It's a strong memory. I can tell you multiple places, not just churches, places where I'm involved, where I can remember who that first person was that took the time to come up and talk to me. The reason I'm asking you this question and kind of sharing this is I want to invite us to grow in our attentiveness to the new people that are coming to St. John's. You might not realize this, but every single Sunday, I meet several people who are new to our congregation, literally that Sunday, just checking us out. And some people obviously are just in town for a visit, but others, they're new to the area, or they moved up from DC, or in some cases, they've been in the local area for a while, but something happened. Like this past Sunday, I had a chance to chat with someone who just told me about a life, something just happened in his life, a life transition. And he woke up and he said, you know what? I need to go to church today. And that was when he set foot at St. John's for the first time. So many reasons why people are making their way to St. John's. And I can't even begin to tell you how big of a difference it makes when somebody steps out of their pew, maybe during the piece or before the service, when they see them walk through, or after the service, just to intentionally say hello. It's amazing the difference that makes, and the difference it makes to whether that person comes back the next Sunday. Sometimes you may have been around me on a Sunday morning, and I'll be chatting with you, and then I'll ask you to go and actually introduce yourself to someone. A lot of times I'll do that if I'm caught in conversations and I see somebody new that's kind of wandering. Maybe it's during lemonade on the lawn. I see them kind of wandering around the table, getting lemonade, but no one is talking to them, and I know they're new. And I'll just look at somebody at church and I'll say, hey, will you go introduce yourself? It's because it's so important for us to be attentive to those who are new among us. Eventually, they'll be known and they will start looking out and introducing themselves to others who are brand new. But I think all of us can go back to that first moment where we didn't know anyone. And so I just want to encourage us, St. John's, to kind of build this practice, especially as we come into the new year, that when you show up on Sunday, to show up expecting to see new people. Now, I know it's awkward when you don't know if that person is new or not. They may have been at St. John's longer than you have, but they just kind of are attending a service for the first time when you're seeing them. And so I know that awkwardness. I've been there, where you say, hey, are you new? And the person says, no, actually, I've been here for 20 years. You don't want to do that. I totally get it. Which is why one of the things I do is walk up to people and just say, hey, it's nice to see you again. And that lets them go, oh, actually, I'm brand new here. And you go, oh, you look familiar to me. It's so good to have you. So there are ways around this. Sometimes I'll say, remind me of your name again, which is a really nice way to introduce yourself to someone, but not kind of let on that you think they're new. And also, people like to feel like they're welcome and that they're not so foreign. And so that idea of saying, hey, remind me of your name again, is a really nice way. It's kind of a strategy that I tend to use. Another strategy that I use sometimes is if I've seen somebody a bunch of times and I've introduced myself to them and I can't remember their name, and I don't want to walk up again and introduce myself, I'll ask somebody else to go introduce themselves to them and say, hey, could you just go introduce yourself and remind me, tell me what their name is so that I can walk up to them. And that's another way to get them to be introduced to somebody else, but also for you to kind of remember who they are. So there's all kinds of ways here for us to kind of get to know people without the awkwardness of wondering whether we're saying the right thing or not. But anyway, you do it your way. The big picture here is that one of the best things about retaining people at St. John's is if they feel welcome. And you, St. John's, you are the answer to that welcome. You are the family members. And I love what St. John's is and what it's becoming. I love that people are finding themselves attracted to us. And so I thank you in advance for making St. John's the welcoming place that it is, that it was for you, and that it will continue to be for others. Blessings, St. John's. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Bye.